What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up Show. My name is BJ Matthews, aka B Jizzle. Before we get started, follow us on the YouTube page, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Like, share, subscribe all of our YouTube videos. Hit that like button as y'all come in here. Hit the Cash App as well, $ BJ Matthews for this great content that we have to drop. And make sure y'all continue to support the Pull Up Basketball Podcast by getting your membership badges. Let's get it popping. All right, so another great topic. I thought that we actually were at the end of this whole little beef, but I think that we still have some questions and some things that I want to, expound on pertaining to two All-Stars, two future Hall of Famers, two people who've been in the league for a respective amount of years, that have a certain history with each other. And that's Mr. Paul George and Mr. Damian Lillard. Now, for those who do not know, Damian Lillard and Paul George, I love both of them as far as their games and how they play. Um, when I was playing growing up, the one player I got a lot of comparisons to was Damian Lillard. And I'm not saying based off of, trying to toot my own horn, but I'm saying like I really got comparisons to Damian Lillard as far as, how he is like as a player, how he pulls up from three, how he pulls up on the his jump shot, his handle, how he handles the ball, similar to how I like to handle the ball. We're about the same size at 6'2". So a lot of my game I modeled after him. You know what I'm saying? I love watching the entertainment, pointing at the watch and all that stuff. Damian Lillard is very entertaining. I love his, off the court with him being the rapper and all that stuff, man. I've always been a fan of Damian Lillard. And there was a point that I even said that I thought he was better than Russell Westbrook. I would take him over Russell Westbrook. This was back in 2017 after Russell won the MVP. And people thought that I was crazy for saying that. But I said, watch what happens. And then, Lord and behold, 2 seasons later, that's when Damian Lillard beat Russell Westbrook and OKC in the conference in the first round of playoffs. Right. So I've always been a fan of Damian Lillard. Paul George, I love PG just off the fact he's with the Clippers, he's with our team, but also because of just his makeup. I think he's been terribly taken for granted. And I think he's one of the best players of this past decade. I think if it wasn't for the injury, I think he would be up there, would have taken the torch from LeBron. Y'all remember when he was like coming in the early 2010s, he faced LeBron twice in the conference finals. And he was up next to be that guy. He gets that terrible injury in the Olympics, and then his career had to, come back into grips after he left Indiana. He was an MVP candidate with Russell Westbrook in his second season, where he led the league in steals and he was third in the MVP race, right? So he goes there to the Clippers, and now here we are. I think PG is one of the best players of this past decade, and he should have been a top 75 player of all time. But nonetheless, these two have a history, and I had thought that they actually gotten over the past, but from some of the recent comments I heard from both of these cats over the past couple months, I don't know if this is just friendly competition or if they're actually over their past beef and they're just taking little petty shots. Now, let's go from the start of where this all began. So back in 2019, like I said, Damian Lillard beat Oklahoma City, which had Russell Westbrook, but also had Paul George. This was the shot right here that was heard around the world in Game 6. Or was it Game 5? I'm sorry. Was it Game 5? Yeah, Game 5 in Portland, where Damian Lillard hit a step-back three-point shot from 50 feet and was able to end OKC's, playoff hopes that year. And that sent not only Paul George out of OKC, but it's also sent Russell Westbrook out of OKC. And after the math of that shot, Paul George went on a press conference and said that was a bad shot. And, of course, he got roasted for it because it was like he was taking a shot at Damian Lillard for basically, ending their season. So I get it. Being in a competitive field, if you get eliminated, you don't want to, acknowledge at the time what just happened. Right? It's a very emotional sport, very competitive sport. But at the end of the day, you got to give the team credit, even though how hard it could be. So that was the start of this whole feud. And of course, Dame responded, said, well, if it was a bad shot, he should have, you know what I'm saying, pushed up a little bit more on defense. Right. So a little just catty, a little back and forth. But then it got really serious. Um, a season after in 2020 in the bubble where the Clippers and the Clippers, like I said, had Paul George. He got moved to the Clippers for Shea SGA and like three other draft picks. He got moved to the Clippers. His first season with the Clippers, of course, y'all remember in the bubble, what had happened was that Damian Lillard and the Blazers faced the Clippers in the bubble. Well, in the game, there was a infamous two free throws that Damian Lillard missed that we've never seen like really in his career. He just missed his free throws. I think he was close to like a 90% free throw shooter. And he just happened to have a moment in the bubble where he missed two free throws at one time. And players like Patrick Beverley and Paul George, and well, I don't know if Paul George was laughing. It was more so Patrick Beverley and Marcus Morris were laughing on the bench. And then Paul George, I guess, just got caught up in the moment, and he actually joined in on the social media of the laughter of Damian Lillard. Y'all can see right here, Patrick Beverley, taking shots at Damian Lillard, being sent home by the Lakers in the next round, in the first round of the playoffs. They got sent home in 5 games. And of course, this is what was posted. Y'all know Patrick Beverley has a history with Damian Lillard as well, which is, for another story, another video. But Pat Bev 21 said Cancun on 3, right? And with the laughy emoji. And then YG Tresse, which is Paul George, he said he must have been responding to something that Damian Lillard said. He said, and you getting sent home this year, respect. Speaking on, Dame Lillard stands on saying he's not leaving Portland. He's had this loyalty type of mindset to never, leave Portland. He ends up leaving, going to, he ends up staying with Portland. And Paul George made a point to say, you guys are not going, y'all getting sent home in the first round. And then Damian Lillard responds to YG Tresse, which is Paul George, said, keep switching teams, running from the grind. You boys is chumps. Paul George goes from, like I said, Indiana to OKC, now to the Clippers. Right? So that's what Damian Lillard's, holding on to. Like, he would rather, like he said, stay with one team and lose than actually go into a different environment and actually win. Right? But not too much longer, which is another round after. Of course, I remember the Clippers losing that 3-1 lead to the Denver Nuggets, and Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum actually took shots at Patrick Beverley, and I'm pretty sure the rest of the Clippers. Like I said, they have a history. CJ McCollum, Patrick Beverley, Damian Lillard said to Patrick Beverley, I guess I should extend this Cancun invite since I haven't made my arrangements yet. Pertaining to the fact that you just made fun of us for going home in the first round, but y'all gave up a 3-1 lead to a lesser Denver Nuggets team. So basically, he was just, poking fun at the Clippers now. And then CJ McCollum joined in. He said, I'll bring the wine. Weather is nice as ever, too. So a little catty back and forth between the two. As y'all come in here, hit that like button. All this is right here is showing like the pettiness of the two. Now, you can only be petty for so long. So, of course, Paul George came after in 2021. Somebody asked him about a question, and Paul George referred it to, he was criticized for calling Dame Lillard's shot a bad shot. And he actually said, it was a great shot, 2 thumbs up. He said he acknowledged Dame Lillard's crazy range from 3. And at the moment, like I told y'all, he just got caught up in his emotions, and he didn't want to acknowledge what was right in front of him at that time. Right. So that's, in 2021, giving him credit. And then Dame Lillard followed up with saying, somebody, I guess, asked him a question about, Paul George's video, right? I just showed y'all. He said, did you see the PG's declaration apologizing you? What do you think? Damian Lillard said, we shook hands. As a man, I don't hold on to issues that tightly when it's not deep. Life is short. Right? Great acknowledgement, great lesson to learn. Like, don't hold on to grudges. Pride is not good. Arrogance isn't good. All that stuff will destroy you. All right, cool. So it seemed as if Paul George and Damian Lillard had moved on after that little spat. Now, according to Damian Lillard, he still hasn't moved on from Patrick Beverley. As a matter of fact, I think that's the one guy he can't really stand in the NBA, and I'm not talking about in a good way. Maybe they might hash out their differences, after their career is over. But right now, they're not in any type of they're not in any type of mood to reconcile things and make amends. So, yeah, like I said, you would think this was a done situation between these two, but based off some recent comments that I heard from Paul George and Damian Lillard, I think there's still a little bit something there. So Damian Lillard, of course, has been in trade talks all summer long. And I don't think nobody talked about this or mentioned it. He's been in trade talks all summer long, and there was um people at one point saying Damian Lillard, even Blazer fans who were criticizing him, asking for a trade out. Right? This is about a month, maybe 2 months ago. And Damian Lillard was confused on why he was getting backlash from the Portland Trailblazer fan base and people who were, criticizing him for, asking for a trade. The same guy who has been loyal to the same franchise for 11 seasons, he has been criticized for, basically, asking for a trade out. That's why I say to people, I will never fault a player for doing what's best for them, even when it comes to LeBron James. To an extent, I do think he's stacked the deck too highly, but I'm talking about for a better situation as far as for the opportunity for you to win. I'm not talking about stacking teams and stuff like that. I'm talking about a guy who feels like I've given all this to this franchise. I went through the grind. I went through the process. I would like to give myself an opportunity to at least compete, not stack the deck, but compete. And you need to have other good players around you to win. That's just the bottom line. Everybody had to go through it. Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, um, Paul George had to go through it in Indiana. Um, Dame is going through it now in Portland. Right? And that's why I want to say Paul George, he commented on Damian Lillard's trade request, and I guess he was making fun, saying like he said he went from saying I will never leave Portland till I want to be traded. Like, and then I think he adds something on like who's loyal now. Like basically sitting there highlighting like, bro, no one wins by themselves. And for people that say they're just never gonna leave a situation, you obviously ain't been there long enough to understand like um the all the stuff you have to go through and deal with, how hard it is to win a championship, how hard it is to go to an NBA finals. Right? Look at Kevin Durant, a guy who said about 8 years ago that he would never 8 9 years ago that he would never that he said let's go back and actually stop teaming up and let's start going at each other. That's what Kevin Durant said. But yet since then he's went from Brooklyn, he went from Golden State to Brooklyn. Now he's with Phoenix. Same guy who is so ultra competitive. Giannis, I think, might be next because right now you're seeing him say like he would never do this, he would never do that. Team up with teams like 4 or 5 years ago. Now he's saying like I'm a Milwaukee Buck, but if they're not serious about winning, i.e., bringing people in, then it's a chance that I might entertain somewhere else. So again, if you're the franchise player and you've been through that, going through that for countless amount of seasons, you know it takes a toll on you. Now with Dame did it very privately though. He did request a trade. He did say I would like to play for Miami. Because again, Portland isn't going anywhere. And with this guy, he's done like pretty much everything you can ask for. All NBA teams, multiple All Stars, top 75 player. He has more than enough individual accolades. Made enough money for generational wealth. At that 28 to about 35, 36 mark, that's when you start wanting to win championships. That's when you're like, okay, I've accomplished everything in my early and mid 20s. I've gotten super max deals. I've done what I need to do. Now it's time for me to go out there and win and be competitive. That's where he's at. So Paul George again went and said that, basically in a nutshell, bro, like you can't go and criticizing me for making a better situation for myself when you just did the same thing, which is true. So that's what Paul George said. But then Damian Lillard had an interview about a few about it came out yesterday. I think there's a few snippets. Um, he talked about the Lakers 2020 championship, and what he highlighted was that the Lakers, the championship that they won, a lot of people criticized for saying it was in the bubble. Um, and then Damian Lillard came out and said that he felt like the bubble championship counts, and the reason why people are saying it doesn't because they didn't win. He said it. The Lakers championship counts to me. You got to look at it like this. Why don't it count? Nobody else won it. Everyone else had the same opportunity to win. So why didn't they win it? Lillard said on the Via the Black on Fig podcast, right? Video contains explicit language. I bet it does. Um, but yeah, he spoke on that. But you also know he said it was the easiest. It was more easier than the normal season, basically highlighting that they didn't have to, what I'm saying, travel, go to hotels, buses, planes, and all that stuff. He said that the bubble was much easier than it actually, um, um, than actual normal season, which took him to, I think, which was a attack at Paul George, a little snub at him. He said basically that he don't understand how it could have been harder when there was more accommodations. They had the cold tub, they had food, everything was right there at the hotel. They had the the gym and everything right there to for them to have easy access. And then he snuck in a little quote saying, "Yeah, these guys coming in and saying they have mental health and all that stuff. Um, I don't know what that's about, but anyway." So I was like, "Hold on 1 second, bro. Don't do that. You already know who you talking about, man." And it's the same guy you said that y'all both hashed out y'all differences. Y'all got to go and listen to that podcast. Or go listen to that interview Dame Lillard just did. He will when you and fast forward to the bubble section, and he's gonna say a line about these players talking about mental health. I don't know what that's about, bro. All you have to do is say Paul George, because that's the only player that came out that said anything. Now I know there's other players dealing with stuff in there, but Paul George was the most vocal and he was the most scrutinized. And you already know your history with this guy. So like I said, I still think they have a little bit something there. The problem is that first of all, two problems. Portland ain't going nowhere um, for it to be any type of real smoke. So I don't think, even if he had an issue with PG, he's not going to really be seeing them in the playoffs. I mean, that's just, what it is. That's why he's trying to get out of Portland. So I think personally, again, like I don't think this is done yet. I think there's still some animosity there, or some pettiness at least. But like I said, these are two. I like these. Both of these guys are some of my favorite. I think, of course, Kawhi's my favorite player, but Damian Lillard is one of my top favorite players, and Paul George is one of my favorite players. I like two-way players that play both ways, and I like guys who are skilled and don't depend solely on just athleticism. Who can depend on shot making, who can depend on his handle, who can depend on separation and creating his offense. Like I love how Damian Lillard does all those facets of the game. So let me hear what y'all got to say. Do y'all think that was snub at Paul George? Do y'all think that there's still some animosity between these two? Let me know in the comment section what y'all think, as well as go into the Cash App, which is $BJ Matthews, $BJ Matthews. We'll be having an interview this Sunday with an NBA or with a professional basketball player this Sunday. So make sure y'all come in and actually, support. And also, like I told y'all, I'll be moving my Saturday videos to my Patreon. I will be dropping my Patreon later on today in the community board, so please be on the lookout for that. My Saturday videos, like I said, and since I now work with the Clippers, there's certain videos I cannot put out. I gotta actually, take away from the YouTube platform just because they're just so strong topics and controversial. I'm going to have to move them to my Patreon. So I would love for y'all to be a part of that. And I will send the link. I'll put it into the community board so y'all could, you know what I'm saying, get access to it. And yeah, y'all will not be disappointed, and y'all will not be disappointed with the product. But until next time, respectfully say, pull up a seat, pull up a chair, pull up. Peace. Out of here like swimwear.